Hi there, how are you all doing? Welcome to Maths Bridge. Thanks for joining with us in exploring web development. Having a web development skill set means equipped with full stack skills. Full stack means which includes both front end and back end. Front end at client side, back end at server side. We are now exploring front end technology is known as HTML. Okay, currently we are looking at HTML tags. Let's get into today's session. We are very happy and most exciting to inform you all my happy learners and first time visitors. Our Mathspace knowledge corpus is get growing day by day. Please do visit us our YouTube channel Mathspace www.youtube.com at Mathspace. Sure thing is some takeaway as far as knowledge concern. Okay. Please do subscribe the channel and support us. Please drop a message. We'll get back. Here is our today's learning agenda. When we do, design and develop a website. Okay, the intent is what? For user to actually visit your web page and then see the content and try to connect back to you either for some inquiry or additional information required or buying a product, things like that. So when we do that, so how you giving a provision for a user to connect back with you. So what is it actually the mechanism that you are providing in your website for doing that, so right? So the answer to that question is yes. Using HTML forms and input tags, you can design your web page so that user can send their inputs to you, in the form mechanism. So an HTML forms are used to collect user inputs in a structured way, such as a contact information, their queries or their login details, that short. You got it? Context. The forms and input tags along with other associated tags allow you to create a interactive form in your HTML pages. Okay. See, in generally when you send user inputs, are most often sent to a server for processing. Keep remember, because we are talking about a client and server, and then this information, as soon as the user submit from the client side, it reaches the server, and the server takes them, process them, and then put in a data source database, for instance. Okay, so these are the elements, form elements, like input tag, label, select, text area, button, field set, legend, details, data list, I'm sorry, output, option, optgroup. So here is a small example. So I have this first name and the box, last name, and then box, and then button, submit button, right? This is a sort of a small form page. First name, last name, and then you can these are the called as the labels. This is like in box, where you are entering, edit box, like, right? This is a button where you can click for submitting the user inputs to the server. HTML form tags. Here is the tag which is used for creating HTML form. It contains various input fields like we discussed, right? Submit buttons and other related elements, you can see them. Here is the syntax. This is the starting of the tag, this is the ending of the tag. In middle you have to put all the elements that are needed for your form page. Okay, here is the action. submit underscore form dot php file or html file. So let's look at a few things here. What is this action means? Action specifies the URL where form data will be sent after submission. So on the web page, when you click on a submit button, data should go to where? The data should go to this particular page where certain instructions are provided for server to process them. Because whenever you click on submit means like most of the times the data will be sent to server for processing. Okay, that's an idea. So the request that what sort of the request that you are sending, the request most of the times we use like a get and post request through the HTTP communication in the HTML, the form page. HTTP get and then HTTP post. What this means, when you are trying to get something from server, you have to use like a get. When you are sending something to server, then you have to use like a post. Okay, sends form data as a URL parameter in the get query. In the post query, you will be also sending a data. That's why server will reads the data and process it at server side. Now the question is like a target part. Specifies where to open the response after form submission. So sometimes like you just submit it, sometimes like you get some response back from the server, maybe submission successful or other sort of a response, how you are going to implement, right? This is how you have to understand what sort of things that you gonna implement for your form page of your HTML pages. Let's say you are creating a placeholder for user to enter something to it, but how would actually user understand like what needs to be entered? So what you have to do is like you have to just create a label for that particular placeholder. So label tag is used to define a label for an input field. This is input field, you agree? Because you are letting user to enter some data into this box. So that's the input field, right? But what sort of the information that you are going to provide to user using the label tag? Okay, it improves the accessibility by associating text with form controls. Here is the syntax for this. You have seen that like form text, input and output tags for the form, but within which you have to enter the other label tags. This is a label tag. Label for username, you are displaying a username. So label tag for username, then following by your field. Text field is what you are entering. Input, this is called input. You see, this is a label, this is an input. Input type text, ID username, name is equal to username. So for this you are creating a text field. That is the association. So the label and input are associated like this. Clear? When you run this code, this is what it displays on the console. Like we discussed, input tag is used to create a various types of the form fields. The type attribute determines what kind of input field will be rendered. What that means is, see, this we discussed, right? These are the text fields, these are the labels, this is a button, right? So is it something like always a text field like this? No, you have a input tags can be a text, can be a password, can be a radio button like this, right? Or checkbox like this, or submit button, email, right? Numbers, date, file, extra. Here is the consolidated input tags that which we can leverage for our form page design. So we see button, checkbox, color, date, date, time, local, email, file, hidden, image, month, number, password, radio button, range, reset, search, submit, telephone, text, time, URL, week. These input tags you can use for your design. You can experiment it. It is a lot of fun with them. Clear? So text means like a single line text input. Password field is like, hides the input. And instead of like displaying the text that you enter, it may be, displaying like a star marks. Radio button for selecting one option from multiple choices. Do you see this one? One of them can be selected. Checkbox is like, to let multiple options can be selected by using like a box, check and uncheck option. A button means like a submit button, right? This is a button used for submit the form to the server. Email means like input for email address. When you put a like wrong email ID, it will prompt directly because the validation can be done at the client side. Okay, number input field only accept the numeric values. Date is like a date picker. File upload field. Here is a one more tag is called a text area tag. Text area tag is used to create a multi-line text input field, useful for longer text such as comments or messages, for which you can actually use a text area tag. So here is the sample. So here is the syntax for this one. Text area, you are giving a name as a message, and you decide rows and columns, how much area that you needed, and then prompt the user that enter your message. But it will get it off when you actually started typing. So your new content will be displayed here, and under the message probably you click on submit, so that the entire message will be sent to the server. Okay, rows defines the number of visible rows. Columns means like it defines the number of visible columns. Beyond probably it will say scroll up, scroll down shorter. Okay, great. Here is the button tag. Button tag is used to define a clickable button in the form. It can be used for submitting a form or triggers a JavaScript functions. We will see as part of like a JavaScript sessions, but currently you get the context, right? So button tag basically used to submit the form or trigger the JavaScript functions. Here is a sample piece of code which basically demonstrated. I have the radial buttons here. It means like one of them can be selected. Once you select it, you click on submit. Either you click on submit or you reset an option. That is how the button tag works. Okay, submit the form. Reset means reset all the fields whatever you selected, right? Button means generic function that can be used with JavaScript. Selected option tags. Yeah, this is one of the important tag. When you have like multiple options, like in a combo selection, right? Drop down menu. How do you actually design a drop down menu? Using select and option tags. A selected tag is used to create a drop down menu, and option tag is used to define individual items within the menu. So here is a sample code. So how select tag can be used, and then so selection, how many things that you can select it. You say like size 3 means like, let's say assume that you have 10 different options for this selection. It can only display one, or it can display as many as you want, based out of the definition that you provided on the code. Size 3, so the probably it displays 3, is what it means is. And then multiple means like you can select either one or more than one based out of the selection. If you remove this multiple, then it will only let you select one, but in this case you select many. Here is the sample form page. You have the first name, email address, gender, and then select a couple of your options, right? And then the text area where you can actually type all the message and submit it, right? So what these tags are means, field set and then legend tags. So far we studied only these, text radial button, multi-selection, text area, submit button, and then checkbox and all, right? But do you see this outer layer and all put together as like in one box, and then you label them? These things can be achieved using field set and legend. Field set means like groups the related elements within a form, okay, provided a sort of a structure. Legend means like adding a caption to this. This is the caption part. Great. So in summary, like this is how your form pages can be designed for your website. So based out of your requirement, you can add them all and then put them in the nice way on seeing them on web page, and then your web page is beautiful. And then give a kind of a design so that like a user can actually provide a minimum useful information, so that you can communicate back to him based out of the query or the need that the user will look for. Okay, so good luck, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, click on bell icon and leave the comments. Happy learning. Thank you. Stay tuned to upcoming sessions.